What exactly are you doing here? There's no reason anybody would want to watch me rebuild a dirt bike transmission, right? Alright, well, if you insist, I guess I'll let you watch while I do this. Try and do it as fast as I can so I won't bore you out too much. So I know you might be thinking, just why exactly would he be rebuilding a dirt bike transmission? But I think you're asking the wrong question. I think the real question is, why shouldn't I? Now, these dirt bike transmissions aren't like your typical car truck transmissions, like that 48RE in my truck that'll blow up if you look at it wrong. These things are pretty strong. In fact, I don't know if you could blow one of these things up if you tried, but hear me out, let's not try. Now, even though you can't blow these things up, I'm going to take it apart anyway, get everything cleaned up, and do some media tumbling on all the gears and shafts, get everything polished up a little bit. There's companies you can send your transmission to. You can pay real money to have them to do what I'm about to do. So I'll show you how to do it for free, or a couple bucks if you don't have a tumbler that you might have to get. And I'm not too sure that it does much of anything, but can't hurt. If it's free for me to do, I'm going to do it anyway. And the transmissions that I have done it to seem to shift a little better than they used to, so we'll find out. Alright, so I got a rip down here. We got our two shafts. We got the main shaft, we got the counter shaft, we got our gears both sides all taken apart. So I think I got to get these things cleaned up, probably use some acetone, brake clean stuff, clean up the gears a little bit, and then I'll show you the tumbling. Okay, so how exactly am I going to do this? I'm going to start with the gears that came off last. Obviously, I'm going to do the shafts first. I'm going to get these things in the tumbler, then the gears that came off last, which on this shaft would be second gear. This shaft would be sixth gear, something like that. So let me get the tumbler out and I'll get these parts thrown in. Alright, so here is the old brass tumbler. We got some walnut media in there, and I'm going to toss the main shaft in by itself. And I got this old turd out in the shed because it is pretty annoying with it running for a couple hours. You can probably pick one of these up for free on Marketplace or pretty cheap on Amazon. I'll throw up the first one that pops up in Google, but pretty cheap and easy option. Not sure how much it really does, but it does something, maybe. Alright, so we're gonna plug it in and we're gonna let it run for a couple hours. And I'm not gonna end up doing the counter shaft because you can see it's got these little oil holes in it and it's all hollow back here. The other one's hollow straight through. So it'd be a little harder to get these holes cleaned out. And so I'm gonna just polish this one up and call it good. And then I'm also not gonna do some of the gears here. As you can see, third and fourth gear on both sides. Looks to me like they're DLC coated. So I'm just gonna leave those things alone because that coating's probably better than anything I can do out of the walnut tank. Okay, so this thing's got 2 hours on it. Let's see if I can find it. Looks pretty good. Smoothed out some of the wear on it. Main shaft gears to go in. You're doing 2 at a time. And in case you're wondering what happens in here, that's what happens in here. Not much to see. Now I gotta clean all these parts really well after they come out of the walnut. You wouldn't want any of that abrasive stuff getting in the motor. So I'll throw up my best before shot so you guys can get an idea what 2 hours of tumbling does. It's not much, but I guess the theory is it smooths out any rough edges that might have been left by the gears doing their shifting thing for a couple 20 years. So now I think I'm going to get this thing polished up. I'm going to polish up some of these smooth areas like right here where the gears go back and forth, and some of these other areas that ride in the bearings. Okay, I got the counter shaft all cleaned up, looking good. So now all we need is some more parts to come out of the tumbler. Man, I wish everything was that fast in real life. Okay, so we're ready to start throwing this thing back together. A little bit of Maxima assembly lube. Alright, now we got a little washer and a little snap ring, the sharp side out. And if you're gonna attempt to do this yourself at home, I would highly recommend taking a video of yourself doing it, even if you're not gonna put it on YouTube, just in case, you know, when you got all this stuff disassembled, taking it out to the tumbler and it's a couple hours in between taking it apart, putting it back together, or even days, gives you a fighting chance at getting everything back together right. That's nice and smooth. You know, we got third and fourth gear right here. And another thing you can do if you forget the order of this stuff, go on Rocky Mountain ATV or your favorite OEM parts seller, and you can find all the breakdowns, especially for the transmission stuff. If you ever are forgetting the order of like snap ring and washers, gears, all that stuff, they got a good breakdown of all that stuff there. A little bit of assembly lube. A lot of this stuff's nice. You can't really put it on backwards because there's only one way it'll actually work with all the components. Sometimes you can tell based on where they've been wearing. And another thing, I did put this on backwards. I put the washer and then the snap ring, so I just got that fixed just in case you're actually rebuilding your transmission with me. Yeah, that's on there nice and smooth. And we just got this splined gear. This would be second gear, second smallest on the input shaft. And that is it for the input main shaft. Back together. Now we're on to the counter shaft. Now we got a splined washer here. We go all the way down like that. And we got a snap ring. Pop it on till it clips, make sure it looks like it's seated. And this gear's another one that you can't really do backwards because the dogs only one set of them fit into the larger gear. This stuff's all super precise fit, but it's moving nicely. Now we got our third and fourth gear here. On right there. Just like that. Little splined washer. Snap ring. That is in. Alright, I got the last two gears finished up here. Slap them on. Okay, there we go. Transmission is built. Just gonna do a little check here. Put them next to each other. Might have to mess with some of the shuttle gears, but they should mesh up pretty much perfectly. And it looks pretty good, so I think I rebuilt it right. Alright, so I got out some of the rest of the shifting components here, and I gotta polish some of this stuff up. Like the shift forks, I want to polish up the actual forks, the index and the gears. I want to polish up the pins, shift shaft, some of this other stuff. So I'll give you a little polishing. That's how you do it. Alright, so the drill was definitely the ticket for doing these little round parts. Made it so much easier, probably saved a couple minutes doing this. And you can do this with any drill. It just makes all the round parts super polished and even, and saves a lot of time instead of trying to rotate those parts by hand. Definitely the way to go. Alright guys, I think I'm going to call it here. I wasn't sure how much I'm going to get done in this video, so we're going to call it after I get this polishing done. I was thinking I might get all the bottom end stuff back together in this video, but it'd be like an hour long if I did all that stuff. So that's where we're at, and we'll catch you guys for the bottom end, maybe some Cerakoting next video. Where the hell did that go? Looks right. Alright, so I got all the parts polished. You can see, super shiny. And really the goal of doing this is just to get everything super smooth, make sure there's no burrs on anything. So everything spins super smooth, moves super smooth like these shift forks. And I ended up just hitting this crank too, getting it a little polished up. Put this whole thing in the little Milwaukee drill. Thing took it no problem. Got it polished up super nice. And I was thinking while I was doing this, if you don't have a buffing machine, you could probably just get some 1500 or 2000 grit sandpaper on some of this stuff, like these shift forks, and smooth them out a little bit. I probably wouldn't do these shift shafts. I'd probably just leave those things alone. But the seal areas, like this bushing for the counter shaft and stuff like that, you could easily just take some 1500, 2000, even 1000, and tune that stuff up, make it a little smoother. Should run better.